Okay, welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling in New York show, where I think I'm the only person teaching how to start or how to build a wholesaling or house flipping business in New York, specifically in New York. It's very different in New York, and everything out there is teaching you how it works in the other 49 states. So, we are going to talk about a few things. Um, so first, I want to talk about SEO, which is search engine optimization. I recently had good luck. I hired somebody to start doing search engine optimization for me, and I got a deal from it already. And what that means is that your website gets organically raised up in the search engine results. So if somebody says, "Hey, I want to sell my house fast in X city or in Long Island or your area," there are really two ways to get in front of them. I used to do PPC, which is pay per click, where I paid Google every time someone searched to put me up there in the paid advertising. And if you look in the searches, you'll see the first three are usually paid, and then the bottom is paid. Um, but the other way to do it is SEO, which is search engine optimization. I paid someone to do that, and it's an ongoing process, and it actually works. So I want to say that if you can afford SEO, it's certainly cheaper than PPC. It is something to think about, and it's worked for me. I just got a deal under contract in West Hempstead, and it should be a pretty good deal. So, another thing we're talking about, you got to deal with the lost deals. I just lost a deal. It was a deal that came from another group of guys that brought a deal to me, and it was a pretty good deal, and someone outbid us. It could be a development deal where a builder was going to build on it, and we got outbid by about 30 grand. And really, that was the whole thought process in the deal was to buy it, get into contract, and then wholesale it to a builder. And in this case, the seller already had a relationship with the builder, and the builder went up on his price. And so there's really two ways to look at that. The one way, and in general, when you have a deal and you lose a deal, and it's your only deal, it hurts. But if you have a bunch of deals, it doesn't hurt. And what I learned from it was that, and what I told the guys who brought me the deal was that, we were priced right? Because just to give you the numbers, I think we were going in at 470, and then we were going to sell it to a builder for 500, and the builder came in at 500. So I said, we priced it right. We didn't get the deal. I mean, there's a chance we'll get the deal, but we'll probably lose it. But that happens, and it's something where if you have enough of a pipeline, it doesn't really hurt. So that should be everybody's goal. And I remember when I started in the business, I had a partner, we lost a deal or we lost an investor, and I said our goal is to get the business to a point where when we lose a deal, we don't cry over it, and when we lose an investor, we don't cry over it because we have enough people, and that's really where you need to be. And I'm not crying over losing this deal. But you got to take the good from what seems like a bad situation. So we learned two things from it. I learned that we priced it right because the deal worked out as we not as we hoped, but ended up being a builder bought it for 500, which is what we thought we were going to get from it. And that you got to move on to the next one, and you can't cry over something like that. So today we're talking about the number one do and don't about starting a wholesale business. So I get a lot more questions about starting wholesale businesses than any other business, right? Most people go online, learn about wholesale businesses from people that are not doing it in New York, and they want to do it in New York. So the number one do is really a couple of things, but you got to buy a list. You got to get a list of people likely to sell, either a niche list, a specific list, some kind of pain point, or a broader list. I probably would tell most people to start with a broader list. Lists are not expensive, maybe $400 or $500. You can get a list of 10,000 people. And then what you need to do is skip trace the list. So again, I have excellent skip tracing services. It's 8 cents a hit plus tax. And they only charge you per hits, and it gives you incredibly good data. Even carrier level data where it tells you an optimized call window for each day of the week when that phone is most likely to be used. And then I use ZenCall for my cold callers who only call those numbers during those hours that it's most likely to be used. So that is really the number one do is you have to get a list, right? People want to know where to start. You got to spend a little bit of money, maybe $1,000, $1,500 to get a list and skip trace the list. I can help you, and I can save you a lot of money on it if you want my help. Otherwise, I can get you discounts on the list and discounts on the skip tracing. But again, you don't have to use me to start. And the number one don't is really not to think about this as a short-term play. And this is why most people start and don't continue. Most people get into it, and if they don't see results, maybe in a few months, they say, F this, I'm out of here. You got to think of this thing as on a 12-month basis, really on a year-long basis. During that time, you're going to get leads. You want to convert those leads to, well, you're starting with prospects. You want to convert them to leads. You want to convert those leads to appointments. You want to make offers to every appointment you go on, even if they tell you, they want $1 million more than it's worth. You still want to make them offers, and then you want to convert those offers to contracts, and then you want to make money on those contracts either by assigning those properties if you're wholesaling. So it's building up a pipeline. It takes much longer in New York, much longer than anywhere else, because of the way attorneys are involved in the transaction. Everything takes forever. A quick wholesale deal for me is 3 months, right? Most other parts of the country, a quick wholesale deal is 3 weeks. And you have to start thinking in terms of a 12-month process to really build up a pipeline, get deals, and make things happen. Now, I hope you get deals quickly, and I hope you get contracts quickly. But the truth is, if you don't think of this in terms of 12 months, you're going to set yourself up for failure. So that's really the number one don't, is don't think of this as a quick thing. Even though everyone on the internet who is teaching you, telling about this, and these are a lot of good guys teaching you that it's quick, you're going to get a $12,000 check in 2 weeks, that kind of thing. It doesn't work that way in New York. People's mindset in New York, because they went through the process to buy the property, it took a long time, is just that real estate in New York is seen by most people as more of an illiquid asset. It's not liquid. In other parts of the country, Texas, the Carolinas, if someone gets into financial distress, can't pay their mortgage, whatever it is, loses their job, can't pay their mortgage, it's a quick process for foreclosure. They can get out of there quickly. They know they can get an investor to come in there, buy this thing in 10 days. But in New York, it's just not seen that way. And also, the whole process takes longer. Foreclosure process in New York can take 10 years. So the whole system and the whole mindset of people here is that this is going to be a slow process. I know I can sell my house, but I can't really sell it fast, right? Fast would be a month, 6 weeks. And, anyone that's selling it retail to a normal end user buyer, it takes 2-3 months to get a mortgage. I mean, we're selling properties now. It takes a long time. So the thinking in New York is that this process of selling my house is going to take longer, and therefore, the entire process of wholesaling takes longer. Also, I mean, just a typical wholesale deal, there's 4 attorneys involved, right? There's a seller's attorney who's going to prepare the contract. There's your attorney who's going to be the buyer. Then you're going to prepare an assignment docs to a buyer. Then the buyer's going to have an attorney. And if he's getting a hard money loan, there's a lender's attorney. So there could be 4 attorneys at a wholesale closing. In other parts of the country, there's no attorneys at the closing. A title company's there. Everybody goes in and signs, and it's over. So it's important to understand that if you want to start, going back to where we started, if you want to start in this business, you got to think about it on a year-long basis. You have to get a list. You got to skip trace the list, and that's how it works in New York. So just to recap, I think I just did recap, so I'm sorry about that. Again, if you like these videos, click like. If you're watching on Facebook, if you look up, you can see the 7 ways that I can help you get started in New York. If you're watching on YouTube, it's below. Please share, subscribe on YouTube if you haven't, and I'm hoping I can be of service to you. You can contact me. My phone number is usually in there. If it's not in there, it's on other videos. But I'm reachable. I respond to direct messages, respond to comments. If you have any requests for any of these videos going forward, you can absolutely put it in the comment, and I'll do a video on it. So I hope I can help you. I hope this has helped you. If you want to start, the number one question I get from people is, how do I start? Really, the way to start is to get a list, skip trace the list, and start marketing to that list, whether it's calling, texting, mailing, whatever it is. But that's really how you start. So those are the number one do and number one don't of starting a wholesale business in New York. Thank you.